You know, the first thing that occurs to me in talking about the early days of the Woodcraft Folk is to say how small we were in those early beginnings. We had, 4 or 5 boys to begin with, plus myself, plus Sidney Shaw, woodpecker, who's probably forgotten by at least the younger members, but who was a great standby in those early days of the Woodcraft Folk. And then, 6 months later, we had perhaps another 5 or 6 girls, and we were about a dozen, around a dozen or a little more. Now, that is a very tiny beginning. The boys came from the Co-op Junior Guild, so that they were already, as it were, captured by the Co-op movement, and we were poaching the Junior Guild, and the girls much the same. And of course we had no money. We got 2 or 3 pounds out of the Royal Arsenal Cooperative Society to get tents for the very first camps. Perhaps another thing should be said also about that very early movement, that it was entirely established by the young people themselves, even if supported by the RACS. Because there wasn't one of us at that meeting in my back garden who was over 21. These were young working people coming together to found their own movement. We were part of a quite significant agitation among young people at the end of the First World War, which the historians call the Great War. We were now deeply troubled as a generation, and even an embarrassment about the Scout movement of which we had been part. Because no question about it, if you look through Scouting for Boys or any of the other publications of the Scout movement, it was paramilitary in the sense it was prepared to turn its boys or train its boys for future service in the armed forces, and it was imperialist. One of the great men thrown up by the Scout movement was John Hargrave, who founded an organization called the Kibbo Kift Kindred.
The message of Kibbo Kift to the Boy Scout movement. In November I told you that there are certain things which are throttling the progress of the Boy Scout movement. Let me repeat what those things are. 1. The handbook Scouting for Boys is out of date. Its intense and somewhat narrow patriotic catchwords may have suited 1908, but certain little incidents have taken place since then. I remember that there was a war. 2. The Royal Charter. 3. A non-representative form of government at your HQ. For having written that article, I was excommunicated from the Boy Scout movement. That was the only answer that was given to that article. It was and still is unanswerable.
But a lot of left chaps, radicals, socialists, cooperators, seized upon KKK as an opportunity to create a mass movement of boys and girls away from the Scouts and the brigades. I therefore decided that as I joined Kibbo Kift and left the Scouts, that I would set up my own lodge. And then it was discovered by John Hargrave that I was only 16 or 17, and you weren't allowed to be an adult member of the Kibbo Kift unless you were 18. However, the local association stood by me, and therefore a row developed. Of course, the row was not really about me. It was about the fact that these organizations, these tribes in South London, were socialist or radical or cooperative. Well, we met at an Althing, which were open-air annual assemblies, democratically run, and in which things were decided by vote. And the 1924 Althing of Kibbo Kift at High Wycombe proposed a vote of censure upon Hargrave, and this was defeated. And then 1/3 of the whole movement withdrew from the council circle because they couldn't stand dictatorial tactics. Now, what did we do? Well, we did nothing. But this is where the Woodcraft Folk begins. And that is that I and Sidney Shaw and 1 or 2 others, we debated after this business of 1924 whether all this cooperative effort in South London was going to die. And that's why I got together Sidney Shaw and 1 or 2 others, and in February of 1925 started the Wayfarers Fellowship in Kepford to carry on, as it were, the work that had already been done. And this was the basis of an entirely new movement with its own program and everything else.
Education for social change, empowering our members to participate in creating a fairer world.
One World, educating our members on environmental and social sustainability.
Ban the world with friendship, encouraging a great understanding of people everywhere.
Peace and freedom, promoting peace in our world for everyone.
Equality, providing open and accessible opportunities and actively challenging discrimination. Rights of the child, ensuring that the rights of children are at the heart of all our activities.
Beliefs, welcoming and respecting young people and adults from all faiths and none.
Cooperation and sharing, working with a programme of cooperative activities.
Woodcraft is split into 5 age groups. I really enjoyed organising the Secret Friends Night, and I believe the people that took part in it really enjoyed making and receiving presents from their secret friends.
My favourite night was first aid night because we got to put each other in the recovery position and bandage each other up, and it was funny.
I remember my first Woodcraft night was filming a story called Fight the Fear. They were based on true stories, and I remember it was about fears and how to overcome them.
I really enjoyed cycling and orienteering because cycling and orienteering are my favourite things doing at Woodcraft.
Hi, my name's Ronnie.
And my name's Luke.
And we're going to tell you how to play one of our favourite games.
What are you doing?
For example, a group of people will stand in a circle. Say Luke will start, he'll mime swimming, and the person next to him has to ask, "What are you doing?" And he has to say something that isn't actually true, and then the person next to him who asked him has to do that thing. What are you doing?
I'm driving a car.
What are you doing? I'm walking on a rainbow. How are you supposed to jump to it?
Dylan, what are you doing?
I'm being Michael Jackson.
What are you doing?
I'm eating the hottest curry in the world.
Oh, what are you doing? I'm walking on sunshine.
Hello, I'm Tom, and this is the Key Game. This is my favourite game, and we're going to be playing that today. You need to set up 2 lines of chairs facing each other with the same number of chairs on each side, and then 1 for each person, and then everybody sits down on the chairs except from 2 people, 1 on each side. Now, everybody who's sitting on the 2 lines of chairs will put their hands behind their back so that neither team can see them, and hold hands with the person next to them. Then everyone will face the end where on the chair a set of keys will be placed. Then everybody will look at the end with the keys where someone will be standing to make sure that it's all fair, except from the 2 people at the end. What they're looking for is a head. When a head comes up, those people will squeeze the hand of the person next to them. They will then pass the squeeze along until it reaches the end with the keys. And the people at the end with the keys will then make a grab for the keys, and then they've won that round. So that person will get up and go to the end where the coin is, and everyone will move up a seat. If someone should grab the keys when it was a tails, then it goes the opposite way. Everyone moves back one. The team that wins is the first team to have got everybody back to their original places.
In 2012, men and women from across the globe will come to the UK to compete, to decide who is the greatest and who is the least. In 2011 they will also come, but this time to cooperate. Co-Camp is the international festival of cooperation. Here there are no top-down grand ideas, no central areas and no elevated core team. Instead, we will build the festival from the grassroots, cooperatively. Together we will create over 100,000 person-hours on big ideas from renewable energy to socialism to sexual health. Over 1 million emails will be exchanged in planning the festival, which on average include 2 practical ideas, 1 contrived metaphor, 8 spelling mistakes, and the word diversity 4 times. At Co-Camp, we will consume over 12,407 pints of milk locally sourced. That's enough milk to fill a Mini Cooper 9 times. It's a radical idea. A global community working together to put on an event that will challenge conventional thinking and catalyze a new era of cooperative action. It can be done, but only if everyone gets on board. Co-Camp needs you. Collaborate, conserve, coexist, construct, consensus, contribute. Co-Camp, the International Festival of Cooperation.
When we get to the campsite, we lay all the tents out before putting them up. We arrange all the tents in a big circle. The circle is a symbol of equality. It has no top and no bottom. It has no beginning and no end. And when we camp in a circle, it means we can all see each other and look out for each other. Phew! So that's all the hard work done. Now it's time to have some fun. At Woodcraft Folk, we love to learn, but we do it in new, fun and exciting ways. Let's see what sort of thing we're going to learn about. Freedom! Being able to do what you want to do, just so long as you're not hurting anyone. Friendship! At Woodcraft, you'll make great friends, but you'll also learn how to be a great friend.
Justice!
Justice, indeed! Learning how to treat everyone the same and making sure that nobody gets left out. Unity! One of the best things in the world is being together and working together, no matter how different we are. And that, my friends, is what we call unity. Peace. When we learn that not everyone in the world lives in peace, we'll come to one conclusion. We've just got to have some peace! Campfire! A big tradition of camping is to have a campfire in the evening. You get to have a sing of Woodcraft's finest and silliest songs, perform odd skits, and have a laugh with your friends. Every now and then, to make our campfires extra special, we have fire performers. Here's a DF with a fire point. And don't worry, we won't let the little kids anywhere near. Oops.
average person in the UK uses up 2 elephants worth of carbon dioxide a year. When it should actually be just 1 small elephant. Firstly, we have our team of experts here. We're a peer education project involving the Woodcraft Folk and De Montfort University in Leicester.